Making the headlines tonight. The Cabinet plenary session on Thursday has approved draft laws on commercial enterprises and commercial rules and regulation. Cambodians have expressed concern about the Omicron variant of COVID-19 as the country discovers its first case on Wednesday. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken cut short his trip to Southeast Asia after one journalist in his delegation tests positive for COVID-19. Golden State Warriors guard Stephen Curry set the NBA's all-time three-point record at New York's Madison Square Garden. And Santa Claus in Peru makes children diagnosed with COVID-19 happy by bringing gifts via their windows. This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. My name is Paolo Bornini. Two draft laws in the Kingdom of Cambodia have been approved during the Cabinet meeting on Thursday morning. The draft laws are to amend the law on commercial enterprises and the law on commercial rules and registration. It is aimed to further boost the country's trade sector. According to the minister attached to the Prime Minister and Chairman of the Royal Government Spokesperson Unit, Pai Si-pan, the Cabinet meeting, which was held by Prime Minister Hun Sen, will promote the doing business in Cambodia, ensure the consistency, transparency with the laws and obligations of Cambodia under international conventions, treaties or agreements, and better prepare for economic recovery after the COVID-19 crisis. The draft laws were endorsed in the weekly cabinet meetings held at the Peace Palace under the presidency of the Prime Minister. The Ministry of Health has announced on Tuesday the discovery of the first Omicron variant of COVID-19. It was discovered from a Cambodian pregnant lady traveling from Ghana, who is now undergoing treatment in the capital. Prime Minister Hun Sen has assured the public that there is nothing to worry about. But EAC news reporter Yuri Matosko hit the streets of Phnom Penh to gauge the public reaction of the new Omicron variant.
A 15-week pregnant Cambodian woman is now undergoing treatment in the capital. This was after she tested positive of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 upon arrival in the kingdom. The 23-year-old woman traveled from Ghana, Dubai, Thailand, then finally landing in Cambodia. According to the Ministry of Health, the woman who hails from Bavet City in Svay Rieng province arrived in Cambodia on last Sunday. She is vaccinated with the single-shot Johnson & Johnson. She tested positive in a rapid test upon arrival. Then she underwent another testing through PCR for confirmation. Health authorities found out that she's carrying the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. But with the daily infection of COVID-19 decreasing in remarkable standards, reaching only 7 new infections this Thursday, 16th of December, there is no doubt the general public might be afraid of the new variant can put everything in risk.
I
am worried because this is a new variant and we are not sure yet about the efficacy of the vaccine against it. All we know is efficacy to the last COVID-19 variant. We should be all united to implement the safety protocol, such as wearing a mask, spraying alcohol, because we don't know how malignant is this disease.
I am more afraid than the Delta variant because it says it's more malignant than the Delta variant. So we need to implement 3 do's and 3 don'ts together.
I'm worried, but I don't know what to do with it. I do wear a mask and spray alcohol, but when I stay alone, I don't wear it. Although when I open the shop, I wear it.
I worry because I have small children and old mother, easy to infect, but no other choice than wearing a mask. For me, as a seller, I wear mask all the time, but when I stay alone or with family, I take it off because it's difficult to breathe.
On Wednesday, at the inauguration ceremony of the Hyatt Regency Phnom Penh Hotel, Prime Minister Hun Sen has assured people that there is nothing to worry. The Ministry of Health is doing their best to keep it under control, although only vaccines are not enough to contain the spread of the new variant. Public mobilization is necessary. The new COVID-19 variant, Omicron, has been already detected in 73 countries around the world. Now, it just has been detected here in Cambodia. Although Prime Minister Hun Sen has reassured the country won't be closed again, he has reminded all citizens to strictly follow the health measures, such as the 3 do's and don'ts. Yuri Matosko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
The Japanese government announced it will be providing more AstraZeneca vaccines to Cambodia. The donation will be delivered to the kingdom through the COVAX mechanism. This was announced by the Japanese ambassador to Cambodia, Makima Mashiro, on Thursday, affirming Japanese commitment to continue supporting and cooperating with Cambodia. EAC News reporter Ria Soka has the story.
Approximately 300,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine will be donated by the government of Japan to Cambodia. This is in addition to the 1 million doses already been delivered through the COVAX mechanism. According to the Japanese ambassador Mikami Misahiro, this decision was made in light of the friendship between Japan and Cambodia. The vaccines, which Japan produced itself, will be delivered in the capital on Sunday. The Japanese ambassador has expressed his hope that these vaccines will contribute to further steps towards social and economic recovery, as well as helping relieve the anxiety of the Cambodian people. He has added that the Japanese government has provided a total of more than $60 million worth of assistance to Cambodia. It includes the donation of medical equipment, the renovation of hospitals, support through international organizations for infection prevention measures at the border, and the provision of equipment to properly transport and store vaccines. Accordingly, Japan has also provided a loan of approximately $227 million, which is being used to provide financial support to people affected by COVID-19 and to strengthen provision within the healthcare system. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Human trafficking is often thought of as something that's dwelling in the past of a history long gone. But it is still a very real issue in modern times, in which the royal government of Cambodia is committed to end. At the 15th National Day Against People Trafficking, authorities have joined an opening ceremony in order to address the issues and to find solutions. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the story.
On Wednesday, 15th of December, it has been celebrated the 15th National Day Against Trafficking in person, with the commitment tackling the underlying issues by Secretary of State at the Ministry of Interior and Permanent Vice Chairwoman of the National Committee for Counter-Trafficking, Chol Bun-Eng, at the in-person ceremony held in Siem Reap. According to Chol Bun-Eng, due to the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, human trafficking rates slightly declined, but by mid-2021, the issues has been reported as Cambodians were deceived into work as illegal migrants. The National Committee for Counter-Trafficking, Chol Bun-Eng, has stressed that not only illegal forms of work are considered human trafficking, but also other devastating trafficking, such as child and adult sexual exploitation in presence or via online platforms, or illegal surrogate motherhood and beyond. The Secretary has also stressed in the occasion of addressing these pending issues, the government has strengthened interventions and imposed several punishments for the perpetrators and accomplices. The Secretary of State also called on engagement from all concerned stakeholders, including the public, for the elimination of human trafficking in Cambodia. Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
A remarkable day for Cambodia's fight against COVID-19 on Thursday. The Ministry of Health has reported only 7 new cases. It's the lowest daily number since the 20th of February community outbreak. Cambodia's daily COVID-19 numbers now stand at 120,397. 13 patients were successfully treated and discharged overnight. That makes the total recoveries 116,759. 3 people died due to COVID overnight. 1 of them was unvaccinated. Cambodia's total deaths since the beginning of the pandemic now stand at 2,998. Active cases, 640. The government of Japan has provided around 13.9 million in aid to Cambodia for contributing to development of Sihanoukville autonomous ports in Prea Sihanouk province. The grant is part of Japan's commitment to continue its support to Cambodia's development. The exchange of notes and related documents on the grant aid extension have been signed between Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Prak Sokhonn and Japanese Ambassador to Cambodia, Mikami Mashiro. EAC News reporter Kong Srepo has the story.
Under the Economic and Social Development Project, the grant will be used to implement the mobile harbor grant at the Sihanoukville Autonomous Port in Prea Sihanouk province. The ministry says the Japan grant will mainly contribute to the Cambodian government efforts in accelerating the economic and social development, as well as further strengthening the existing bilateral cooperation and traditional friendship of the two countries, the ministry said in the statement. The Japanese government, through Japan International Cooperation Agency's Cambodia office on Tuesday, has provided $12.2 million assistance to install port electronic data interchange at two ports, Phnom Penh Autonomous Port and Sihanoukville Autonomous Port. It was handed over to the Minister of Public Works and Transport, Sun Chanthol, by representative from JICA. Furthermore, Parliamentary Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of Japan, Miyake Shingo, has expressed his support for Cambodia's role as Asian chair in 2022 and the kingdom's role in resolving regional issues, including the issue of Myanmar and the ongoing dispute in the South China Sea. Kung Srepo, EAC News.
On Wednesday, the 15th, the Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts, in collaboration with the Kampong Cham Provincial Administration, organised the 11th Mekong River Literary Award Ceremony 2020. The ceremony was to congratulate the winners living in Kampong Cham Province and to promote books and culture throughout the kingdom. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the details.
The 11th Mekong River Literature Award ceremony was held in Kampong Cham Province under the presidency of Governor of Kampong Cham, Ong Chonda, with the participation of the President of the Khmer Writers Association, Pran Pranet, as well as the representative of Minister of Culture and Fine Arts, Puang Sakona. President of the Khmer Writers Association, Pran Pranet, stated the Mekong Literature Award ceremony was supposed to be held all over the country, but because of the COVID-19 context, this year's award will only be set in Kampong Cham Province. Governor of Kampong Cham Province, Ong Chamda, expressed his great pride to the winners of the 11th Mekong River Literature Award this year under the theme of Life and Sustainability of the Mekong River. He stressed that such award has given prestige on the international stage, giving honor to Kampong Cham and the nation, as well as families living along the Mekong River. Ong Chamda stated that literature is a mirror that reflects the reality and its society. The literature system about the Mekong River has a very broad meaning, which shows the solidarity of the countries along the Mekong River and the sharing of experiences to writers and students to understand the importance of the Mekong River, allowing them to research and provide experience through literary works. The governor has added the Mekong River has the same source, the same life, the same river, the same benefits, and the same destiny for all countries along the Mekong River. So it's necessary to preserve the natural heritage not only for humans but all animals and environment as a whole. At last, Ong Chanda has also instructed all students to pay attention to study and increase knowledge in all languages for the job markets that comes from knowledge, as well as they must continue to implement measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in accordance with the Health Ministry's standards. Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
The Cambodian Garment Training Institute, Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority have signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Wednesday to establish a mutually beneficial cooperation and agree on building relations between the two entities. The partnership highlights 2 training courses on leadership skills provided by the Garment Manufacturers Association in Cambodia, and Cambodian Garment Training Institute to the Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority, and the nation's Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. EAC News reporter Kong Srepo has the story.
Senior Minister and First Vice President of the Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority Lee Tuch has expressed gratitude to the Garment Manufacturer Association in Cambodia and Cambodian Garment Training Institute for the partnership. He says they did not only manufacture garments but also hope and dream for the millions of Cambodian people. Lee Tuch has highly appreciated the complementarity between public and private entities as they believe that it can help beneficiaries go further and make greater accomplishment. GMAC Chairman Van Suleng says that while the focus is garment industry-related training, there are many other courses for both hard and soft skills that fit multiple sectors including non-profit NGOs and government entities. He says this partnership will open an opportunity for them to provide a number of soft skill training courses to CIMA, which is the government-esteemed authority carrying out a noble mission to clear landmine, to assist the victim of landmine and to educate people about the mine risks. GMAC's chairman has added that over 20 years, CIMA has made remarkable achievements with thousands of square kilometers of land being cleared and released for socially and economically productive uses, and landmine victims have also been well assisted. He has claimed that they are honored to join CIMA's journey and be able to contribute in any small way to their further success in the future, especially the realization of your 2025 vision. Kong Srepo, EAC News.
US Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken cut short his trip to Southeast Asia on Wednesday, after a journalist traveling in his delegation tested positive for the coronavirus. A spokesman for the US State Department, Ned Price, has announced.
A State Department spokesman has said U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has tested negative at every stop on diplomatic visits over the past week to Britain, Indonesia, and Malaysia. He had scheduled meetings for Thursday with senior officials in Bangkok, the Thai capital, but this third and final leg of the three-country tour has been cancelled. He did stop in Bangkok briefly to pick up flight crew for his trip back to the United States on Wednesday night. The State Department spokesman has said Blinken had called the Thai Deputy Prime Minister Don Pramudwinai to express his deep regret over the change in plan. The journalist in the entourage has tested positive for COVID-19 in Malaysia after arriving with Blinken from Indonesia. That person did not participate in any Blinken's program of activities in Kuala Lumpur, and no other member of his party had contracted the virus, the U.S. Embassy in Malaysia has announced in a statement. The State Department spokesman traveling with Blinken that the decision to end the tour was taken to mitigate the risk of the spread of COVID-19 and to prioritize the health and safety of the U.S. traveling party and those they would otherwise be in contact with. The U.S. Embassy in Jakarta has said on Twitter that all members of the party had tested negative in Indonesia. Blinken's plane will only make a short technical stopover in Thailand, with no official talks on the agenda. He will then return to the United States. Blinken's tour had been aimed at challenging an ever more assertive China and re-establishing U.S. influence in Asia after the turbulence and unpredictability of the Donald Trump era. He began the trip in Jakarta, where he met with Indonesian President Joko Widodo, before giving a joint news conference on Wednesday with Malaysian Foreign Minister Saifuddin Abdullah in Kuala Lumpur. Before arriving in Indonesia, Blinken participated in a G7 foreign ministers meeting in Britain, which was dominated by tensions with Russia. He was originally due to make a stop in Hawaii on the way back to the United States.
Now for a look at news making international headlines this Thursday, 16th of December.
Around 300 people were trapped on the roof of Hong Kong's World Trade Center on Wednesday after a major fire broke out. The building is located in the bustling commercial and shopping district of Causeway Bay. Police have said the fire started in the machine room and has moved to the scaffolding surrounding the building, which is currently under renovation. Hundreds of people were moved from a restaurant to the 39th floor when the fire broke out and smoke filled the dining area. Firefighters stood on aerial leaps during the rescue operation after having battled the blaze with 2 water jets. Emergency services personnel and ambulances were also deployed to the scene, with 1 person being transported away while holding onto breathing apparatus. It was reported that 13 people were injured and taken to hospital. Those who were injured are aged between 25 and 60. The 60-year-old woman is in critical condition. Those trapped on the roof have been all safely rescued, with more than 1,200 people in total evacuated from the building.
11 bodies have been found, while 25 people remain missing on Wednesday after a boat carrying suspected undocumented migrants from Indonesia capsized off Malaysia, maritime authorities have reported. There were 14 people reported safe among the estimated 50 aboard the boat, which capsized off southern Johor state around 4:30 a.m. The survivors and the boat were found on a beach in Tanjung Balau, and the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency has said a search and rescue operations had been launched for those missing. The boat was believed to have traveled from Indonesia and capsized after being hit by strong waves. Johor Maritime Operations Deputy Director Captain Simon Templer Loactuza has said. Coast Guard Chief Admiral Mohammed Zubil Matson said soldiers on patrol discovered the bodies of 7 men and 4 women on the shore. The Indonesian consulate in Johor said its representatives were on location to help identify and manage the remains of the victims. The 14 survivors were taken into custody. Those missing are believed to have either gone into hiding or drowned, and authorities have deployed boats and an aircraft to seek them out. The accident is the latest in a string of disasters recorded in the waterways between Indonesia and Malaysia in recent years, often involving overloaded boats ferrying laborers seeking works in Malaysian factories and plantations. Malaysia is home to millions of migrants from the poorer parts of Asia, many of them undocumented, and they work in industries including construction and agriculture. According to Migrant Care, a Jakarta-based non-government organization, between 100,000 and 200,000 Indonesians travel illegally to Malaysia for work each year, many of them recruited by trafficking gangs and subjected to exploitation when they arrive.
And Russia unveils its latest anti-submarine missile system called Answer. It's the first cruise missile of the Russian fleet that shoots up into the sky and then dives into the sea, searching for underwater targets such as submarines. On Wednesday, Pacific Fleet frigates successfully tested the missile, with the projectile successfully hit an underwater target in the Japan Sea. The Russian Defense Ministry hasn't yet revealed its plans for the missile system, nor announced dates of its possible adoption to the country's fleet. But it was revealed that the new projectiles can be used via already existing caliber cruise missile launch pads. So, the new system might be added into the arsenal of the country's most powerful Admiral Grigorovich and Admiral Gorskov class frigates, as well as the corvettes stationed in the Black Sea. Answer consists of 4 parts: a new cruise missile, a launch pad, a hydroacoustic station that searches for submarines under the water, and an onboard computer that uploads targets, coordinates, and flight path into the projectile's brains. The new missile can receive information about underwater targets through hydroacoustic stations on board, as well as from anti-submarine planes and sonar beacons.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Golden State Warriors guard Stephen Curry set the NBA's all-time three-point record at New York's Madison Square Garden on Tuesday, making his 2,974th long-range shot in the first quarter to surpass Hall of Famer Ray Allen.
Curry, a three-time National Basketball Association champion and two-time league MVP, pounded his chest and let out a roar after hitting the 28-foot shot. He was immediately embraced by his teammates, coach's father, and former NBA player Del Curry and Allen.
It was a beautiful, I'll call it ending to this last week, and the build up to getting this number, and it was a special atmosphere. I knew the Garden would deliver in terms of just how iconic this place is, but I can't say it enough. I appreciate so much the way the fans embraced the moment with me and let me just kind of get lost in it. And I could feel once I took the shot on the wing, and it felt good, looked good in the wind. It felt like we were at home. And I didn't really realize that we were going to foul and that there was going to be a timeout and all that. It was just a special moment for sure that I appreciate, and I'll remember for the rest of my life in terms of what it means to me to pass Ray, a guy, him and Reggie, and guys I looked up to coming into the game. So definitely special.
Curry entered Tuesday's contest just 2 3-pointers shy of Allen's regular season record, and the sold-out crowd remained on its feet throughout the early part of the game in anticipation of the record being broken. Miller, who was calling the game on TNT National's broadcast, is third on the list with 2,563 pointers. Curry ended the game with 5 3-pointers, taking his career total to 2,975, as the Warriors rode a late surge to beat the Knicks 105-96.
It was an incredible shot. You know, it was kind of a fadeaway, high arcing three, so it was the degree of difficulty was there, and the crowd was anticipating it, and then the aftermath was more emotional than I expected it to be. You know, it was just an outpouring of love and support for Steph from seemingly everybody in the building. So beautiful, beautiful moment.
The 33-year-old Curry, who is playing his 13th season, is widely considered the greatest shooter in the history of the league, a description he's now comfortable with.
An explosion of positive COVID-19 tests left 3 major North American sports leagues scrambling to control the outbreaks on Wednesday. The threat of widespread scheduled disruptions loomed large, and fans faced the prospect of again being barred from arenas. Despite soaring positive tests, the National Football League has not cancelled any games. But with close to 100 players going on the COVID protocol list, this week some of the sport's biggest names looked poised to miss the action, including Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield and Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Of the NFL's 32 teams, as of Wednesday the 22nd, had at least one player in COVID protocol.
I think all of you are aware that there's been a substantial increase in our positive cases over the past several days. And I think this reflects that we're entering a new phase of the pandemic, something that's different than what we've seen before, where really the rules have changed, the dynamics of the pandemic have changed for us.
While touring Kentucky tornado damage on Wednesday, US President Joe Biden came upon a woman in Green Bay Packers gear and, after consoling her, turned the subject to Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who has resisted getting vaccinated and missed a game this season after contracting the virus. The National Hockey League, already dealing with a backlog of postponed games, was bracing for more headaches as the Nashville Predators, Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes and Calgary Flames confirmed players and staff have been forced into COVID-19 protocols. Along with postponements, some Canadian teams will be playing future games to half-filled arenas after the Canadian and Ontario provincial governments announced new restrictions on Wednesday to combat the fast-spreading Omicron variant.
It's entertainment. It's also it's big business. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of people gathering indoors, especially to witness professional sports. And I think if you look at the principles in terms of physical distancing, the use of face masks and so on, I think if you take all that into account, at the present time, if I understand, let's say sports events, arenas, hockey arenas are still at full capacity, that's something I think that needs to be looked at.
With COVID-19 running rampant through their locker room, the Flames confirmed on Wednesday that 7 additional players and 7 support staff were added to the pandemic protocol. Calgary had on Monday placed 6 players in protocol, followed by the NHL postponing all Flames games through Thursday. With almost the entire Flames team in protocol, the NHL said on Wednesday it was delaying Calgary's return to the ice until at least December the 18th. The NBA on Monday saw its first games of the season postponed when 10 Chicago Bull players and additional staff members were placed in health and safety protocols, forcing the rescheduling of 2 contestants. Australia cricketer Jai Richardson will replace injured paceman Josh Hazlewood, but opener David Warner has been cleared to play against England in the second day-night Ashes test. Australia cricket captain Pat Cummins said on Wednesday.
Hazlewood was ruled out of Adelaide after suffering a side strain during Australia's 9-wicket win in the first test at the Gabba.
Josh is one of the best in the world. He's very hard to replace, but I think Jai really is in that upper echelon. He's been bowling fantastically. So I don't think we'll see too much change. He'll be right. He had a bat yesterday, batted with a bit of discomfort, but knowing Davey, he's not going to miss this one. He'll be fine once adrenaline and everything kicks in. So all good. A little bit sore, but he'll be fine.
Two Test Richardson beat out the uncapped pace veteran Michael Nasser for the spot in Australia's attack with Cummins, Mitchell Starc, and spinner Nathan Lyon. Left-hander Warner suffered a bruised rib after taking a few body blows during his 94 in Brisbane and appeared in some discomfort during a net session on Tuesday.
It's not an injury it's not like a broken bone or anything that's going to get worse. It just might be a bit of discomfort, but it's all split-second decision-making, so I'm sure that will all be fine.
However, Cummins said the 35-year-old would grin through the help of a pain-killing injection if necessary.
Now let's have a look at the weather and see what you can expect for tomorrow. And finally, Santa got a little help from the fire brigade in Peru on Wednesday, using a fire truck and a cherry picker to safely deliver presents to children with COVID-19 who are currently under isolation.
Santa Claus, the legendary figure who is the traditional patron of Christmas and brings gifts to children. His popular image is based on traditions associated with Saint Nicholas, a 4th century Christian saint. With the help of the fire brigade, Santa has reached over 120 children through the windows of the Pan American Village on Tuesday. The village, built for the Pan American Games of Lima, is now a center to treat and isolate families with COVID-19. Adding to the Christmas spirit, health workers below danced to carols while kids cheered for a mask-clad Santa as he got closer to their windows. Christmas traditions in Peru are believed to have been established sometime around 1535. This was the year Francisco Pizarro took control of Lima 2 years after defeating the Inca Emperor Atahualpa. Given that the majority of the Peruvian population practices Catholicism, it comes as no surprise there is a long and celebrated history of Christmas traditions in this part of the world. Some of these traditions are similar to those practiced in the United States and Europe, since they revolve around the church, but there are also a few traditions that are entirely different. One COVID-19 patient isolated with his family says they'll remain in the hospital until the 26th. So, having Santa around will help them keep their spirits high. Pan American Village Director Juan Uriondo says Santa and the fire brigade have provided a solution using the cherry picker so they can get close to the windows and give the children a little present. That way, they can feel the excitement of Christmas that they might not get at home on the 24th of December. Paul Suarez, who volunteers as Santa, has shared his feelings on giving the gifts for the children in the hospital.
The most important thing is the love you get. Saying, "I love you, Santa," is magical. Why? It may seem like it's not important, but it is, because I'm not a close relative. I'm not their mom or dad. What kids tell someone that's not from their family that they love them?
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check out our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.